Okay, we're going to start looking at some applications. These applications are called variations. The first type of variation we're going to look at here is a direct variation. So this formula right here is the one we're going to use. And the key for using this formula is right here, the word direct. If you look down here in this first example, you'll see the words or the word directly. Y varies directly. When you see the word directly, you use this equation. Okay? Inverse variation. This is the equation we're going to use. So look at number 2. If y varies inversely, okay, as x, then we know to use the second equation. Okay, so let's look at these two examples, number 1 and number 2. You may want to take a moment to pause the video right now to write this down. As you're writing this down, something to notice here is that k in each equation represents the constant of variation. And this is something you have to find first. So in problem number 1, they tell us what y is, and they tell us what x is. So we're going to input these two values into the equation and find what k represents. So y varies directly as x. So y equals kx. This is a direct variation. You did these in Algebra 1. So plugging in our values, so 25 equals k times 15. Solving for k. The constant of variation is going to be 25/15, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce that. Divisible by 5, so 5/3. So the equation that we're going to use to solve this problem is going to be y equals 5/3 x. So let's go on back here and find out what the problem is. You probably have it written down. Okay, it says find x right here when y equals 40. Find x when y equals 40. Find y. No, I already forgot. Find x when y equals 40. So we know that y equals 40, and we're trying to find x. So the easiest way to undo a fraction is to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. And so that'll cancel. X equals 24. And there is your answer. Okay, let's take a look at the next example. Okay, this one is an inverse problem. Y varies inversely as x. Okay, so let's take a look at number 2. It says inversely, so we're going to use the inverse variation. Y equals k over x. In the problem, it tells us y equals 22 when x equals 6. So we want to solve for k here, so we undo division with multiplication. So k is going to be 132. So here's the equation we're going to use to solve the problem. And the problem is find x when y equals 15. Find x when y equals 15. Okay, simple way to solve this problem is to set up a proportion and cross multiply. So we have 15x equals 132. And then we want to divide that. So we get 132 divided by 15. So x equals 8.8. Okay, so those are your two different types of variation. Now let's look at one where we mix them. So let's look at example number 3. And actually moving on down here to number 4. So when a quantity varies directly as the product of two or more quantities, the variation is called a joint variation. So let's take a look at joint variation. It says that if R varies jointly, so if R varies jointly, I'm going to write this down. I suggest you pause the video and write it down as well. Okay, so notice it says that jointly, and jointly here means that it varies directly between the product of two or more quantities. So the way we would write this, if I can get on the right page, so jointly these two are going to multiply, and then this one is going to divide. So R equals K times S times T over U. Notice jointly we multiply these together, like directly, okay? And inversely, so we divide by this one. And then K gets multiplied on top, our constant of variation. So we're going to plug our numbers in, like before, and we're going to solve for K. So we get 6/4 K equals 18. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Cancel that out. And we're going to get 12. 6 goes into 18 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. So there's our constant of variation. So our equation is going to look like this. R equals 12 times S times T over U. And let's find out what we need to solve. Looks like they tell us that R is equal to 6, T is equal to 2, and U is equal to 4, and we're looking for S. Heading back over, plugging our numbers in. We know that R is 6. We're looking for S. T is 2. U is 4. And we're solving this for S. So we have 12 times 2 is 24. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Divide both sides by 6. S equals 1. All right, we'll see you guys in class tomorrow. Get to bed. That means you, Alex. Done.